We're on, Curly. Let's have a look. Definitely on, yeah. So, Curly, down for the first ever podcast, Forever Better podcast. Chose you because we've known each other since that big. I know most of your story. Might be bits I don't know, mate, that you never told me before.
Potentially.
We had big chunks without doing much together for a long time.
It happens in life, doesn't it? As you get older.
Yeah, and then so got you on to sort of tell your story. Like, I obviously know where you are now, and it's a lot different to sort of a few years ago. But you know, I was gonna say everyone's got a story to tell. So let's tell them it. Let's just have a chat, see how it goes. If it's crap, it's crap. Still put it out anyway. Somebody might enjoy it. You never know. It might be good.
I suppose at least Tash will listen to it, so we'll have one.
Yeah, Sarah will probably listen to it. But you never know. It might take over the world.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
So, Curly, go on, mate. Where did it all start?
Obviously, local lad, Johnstown. You know what comes with that is you never sort of leave the place. I don't live in Johnstown anymore, but if anybody ever asks me where I live, it's the first place you mention, which I always find quite strange, actually, when you think of that.
I always think of that, like, I'm so, like, proud of where I'm from, and I think everybody should be. I don't know if other people are. I think there are a lot of people like territorial, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I don't know whether everyone's like, that's where I'm from, like, good or bad, you know what I mean? But I'm like, yeah.
Well, I live in North Scotland now. Obviously, I don't know if I should mention that in case my fan base gets too big. But
well, that's why I got you on. I thought we can spread over there.
Oh, taking over there.
Take over Roster.
It is funny, you know. You meet somebody new. Well, where you from? Johnstown? I'm not. I've lived in Johnstown for a few years.
It's easier to say as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, but going back as a kid, just playing on the circle, living the dream.
Yeah.
Good times, mate.
Used to be out. A load of us would be out, wouldn't we, on the circle playing Fox and Hounds? Yeah. Remember that? Football.
All the time, just all the day.
It's very different now, isn't it? The kids with the consoles, but out there you would be out for hours and hours, wouldn't you?
And if I drive through the circle, pick the kids up, I do drive. I wouldn't walk. That's too dangerous. But when I see, some days I see loads of kids out playing, and it's like, literally the feeling you get is like, go on, man. But
you've moved now though to the posh side of Johnstown now, yeah. So
I'm only a stone's throw, mate. It's literally, I reckon I could throw a stone.
You know the script once you pass Bangor Road. Huh?
Yeah, you know all that. Because you never allowed past it.
No. I still have to check in with Tony now.
We go to Bangor Road, we go to an Park shop, and it used to be there. We must have been, I don't know, 21? No. Must have been about 8 or 9. We all go over there to get football stickers, 25p. Curly was never allowed over, so he'd have to wait by Bangor Road in case his dad comes. Sometimes they say, come on, and he'd come.
He called me, didn't he? I remember he called me on my rollerblades.
He'd literally be hiding behind cars and that. But that was your dad looking after you at the time. You probably thought, you felt dead hard done by. But now, if I look back on all that, what do you think of that?
Never spoke for a few years. It's not really good. No, it is. It shows good parenting, really. Yeah. You know, in the grand scheme of things, especially now when you look at, some sort of questionable parenting you see these days. Yeah. I suppose, it was good.
Some of them don't even know where they are. Like, I don't think. Well, my mum and dad, I'd say where I was, but I was never there. But yeah, you look back, like your dad was doing a good job, really. But when you're that young, you don't see it like that, do you?
No, you don't.
But I do it now. Harry started going out, and it's incredible. Like, Sarah's a bit worse than me. She's in the top window, looking through the thing, waiting. Where is he? Can you go drive? Look for him and phoning him all the time. They've got phones now, but we would just be gone, like from before my mum and dad got up in the morning on the weekend, but out, and like we just pop in, go in the fridge, grab something, back out. But Johnstown is like just a brilliant place for kids, I think. Safe, innit? Feels safe.
Yeah, it does. It's one
You
big
got, like,
community.
you got
isn't
the main road, you got Bangor Road. When you're within that estate, and everyone on the estate used to tell you who lives in nearly every house.
Yeah,
it's not like that anymore, is
no.
it? It's just out. It's not the same anywhere, but
your family knew everybody, so it would be you were looked after wherever you went. You know.
Yeah, everyone would shout you in to get if you want a drink or a nice lolly or choc ice. No frills normally.
When the ice cream had run out of ice cream, so you were given a choc ice.
Yeah,
that's what they used to tell you.
But yeah, no, it's just people move, don't they? And there's family. You haven't got as many like big families on there anymore. I think there still are, but yeah. So you're enjoying life as a kid?
Yeah.
Then we started. You playing football?
Wasn't very good.
Turned up every week though.
Yeah, it turned up. I did alright. We were quite a decent team, weren't we?
He was playing goal, really good.
I was too small to carry on as a goalkeeper.
You're good though. You're a good keeper.
Yeah. So we got into the big goals. I couldn't reach the bar.
You were like a cat, those little ones, 5-a-side tournaments. I remember you crying when we lost on penalties.
Never been a good loser, if I'm honest.
I was crying as well.
No, I remember saving a penalty with my nose in Plasmatic. When you were all...
That's what I used to do. That
do you remember? Yeah.
In boxing as well, you defended your nose.
I know, yeah. So I saved a penalty, and they're all picking me up, and I'm crying because my nose is bleeding. They're all celebrating we'd won.
The Plasmatic tournaments were the one.
Pink kits. Do you remember? They've been handed down that many over the years. They've gone pink.
Yeah, like Hardy and Tess now, you pay like 100, 150 quid. They got brand new kit for that team, brand new training gear and all that. But like, we used to pay like 50p a week or something, didn't we?
Everything handed down.
You used to look at the team above us, and you think, I'm going to get that kit next season. And then it used to be on washing lines all around the estate, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would, yeah. That's quite funny, actually thinking back.
Yeah. That's what kills me, mate. Well, fast forward into like, there's no football teams in Johnstown anymore. Like I keep banging on about anyone who knows me. It's like about Johnstown, about how we don't produce. We haven't. I asked a question on the WhatsApp group last night. Fair play to Evan, lad up in like Ponky Ross. He's been signed by the Scarlets, I think. And I know Evan since he was younger as well. But and so he's making it. You got lads from Penakai at like Rob Evans, captain of Wrexham, Pemby's lad Davy at Everton, and like established. Nico Williams and Kevin. You got all these other villages locally. Ross have got like the actor like Mark. Like they produce. People are like making it, if you like. And then I can't think of anyone from Johnstown who's ever done anything other than gone for trials somewhere, or like boxing, like reverse, like semi-finals. You know what I mean? It kills me. I can't accept it, and I can't understand. I do understand. I kind of think I know sort of the reason why, but I just think it needs to change. Like the best, I say now, like it's a bit ambitious, but the best in the world at anything come from somewhere. And why can't that place be Johnstown? So that's what we're trying to do with Forever Better. Is we've got all these kids on the app and T-shirts and getting them more involved, getting parents more active. That then transfers down to the kids. They're like,
I think it's ingrained in the culture. And I think it's difficult with Johnstown because there's so many pluses from being in a village like Johnstown, but there's so many negatives.
Yeah.
Because people don't deviate outside the box.
Yeah.
So you fit in with the community because that's your community. So you don't push yourself.
Yeah.
You want to be comfortable.
And we don't let anyone else in either.
You don't, do you?
With all their ideas.
I
That's how we do it around here.
I work with a fella who's a teacher where I work, and he's a dead nice fella. He's a grown man, and he grew up in Rwabon. And first thing he said to me, I know. First thing he said to me is, "Are you from Johnstown?" He said, "Yeah, I went there with a mate many years ago." But he said we had about 20 lads chased us back past the Bolton. Yeah. And you think, I remember it happening. That's how bad it is. It's like, so I suppose it's so many pluses, but it's quite embarrassing as an adult saying,
I'll cut to that while we're on it. Like, I think, and then we'll come back to you with, but I think what we do is, like, we have kids with sort of ambitions as sort of teenagers, when they're just teenagers and just play, and we've produced so many good footballers. Johnstown, like the kids who played football on that circle, we can name them all, but the likes of the Robbies, the Sean Barlows, the Stickses, then you got Toms, and there's so many that but none of them have ever. Nobody had people had potential, and Robbie's on trials at Everton, stuff like that. But what we do, so we've got kids coming through with potential, but then I think the older generation, once they start work, they then get them money, and they then drag them into starting going out. Next thing you know, all that ambition that they might have had, work-wise or sporting-wise, whatever, like career-wise, just gone out the window. Like, this is brilliant. Let's going out, sitting in the new inn and stuff. And there is a place for it. Obviously, I'm not going to slag that off. You have some of the best times of your life when you first start going out and stuff. But we go too deep into it, and then next thing you know, we just want a job that gives you some money for the next weekend, and then next thing you know, you just
10 years down the line and life's passing you by, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. If you look back, what we were boxing to a good standard.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, you're in great shape.
It was belief with, like, this big thing for me was the belief. I used to go to these tournaments with the Welsh squad and stuff, and I used to literally I can think back now as an adult thinking, I remember being there on Welsh camps with these lads who were like from cities, Cardiff, and they got this swagger, or we'd be boxing away, and you got lads from Liverpool, Manchester, and they'd have this like sort of confidence, and I just remember in my head, like, I'm just from Johnstown, I was just picturing Johnstown, so it held me back. But like me now, last few years, just like a million miles away from that, like High Rocks World Championships, I'm on the front, I'm like, I don't care, like you understand it with maturity, like, that's a human. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters, does it, when you get older? But when you're younger, I'm just from Johnstown, held me back. So that's what we're trying to do, is like, you hear me banging on about podium mentality a lot. It's like, you're from Johnstown, but you're from around here, you're from wherever you're from, doesn't matter. Put the work in, turn up, and you've got as much chance as anyone. But it did hold me back, definitely, like. But yeah, sorry, mate. But I'm passionate about that shit. What were you about to say?
Yeah. No, I think it is fascinating. You get to about 16, and we used to go to the Travellers. We used to sneak in the Travellers at 16.
Trams, yeah.
All the lads passing pints. We used to hide by the pool table.
Yeah.
At fake ID. Used to and that then takes over everything else, isn't it? So you're doing everything else at a good standard, and then all you care about is the weekend.
Well, so you started a bit of that. We both went in the army straight from school because we were thick as shit, basically, wasn't it?
Well, I've re-educated myself.
You always wanted to be an electrician.
No, if you remember originally when I told you all I wanted to be a solicitor or a lawyer, you laughed your heads off.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I was 12, 13.
Why did you? I forgot about that.
I know. I just thought it looked like a good job. I just thought.
Planning on like helping so you can see local business.
Well, looking at my mates, I thought I could make a killing here. But no, and I just genuinely remember you all laughed at me. And I thought, fucking hell, actually, I'm not going to be a lawyer. And you do, you sort of joined the army because you didn't know what else to do.
Careers office. You go to the careers officer. It's like, what do you want to do? Don't know. What do you like doing? Running, training. Right, go in the army. That's what they say.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they say here, because like they just want the next one in. They want to get home, job on jack. But I was going in the army from like 14, and I thought, I just want to go in the army because I didn't like the inpatient and apprenticeship, like £40 a week. I was like, sack that. I go in the army and get like about £1,000 a month.
You think you're loaded, didn't you?
You think you're loaded, yeah. 16.
Wow.
Yeah, all you're paying is, you didn't even have a phone contract then. It'd be like, put £10 in your phone. £10 just text.
What you spend to the naffy.
Yeah.
And then you quickly realise, actually, because I didn't do much in the army. I got drunk in Germany. Yeah. But, you think you were super fit going in. Yeah. I remember I used to do my mile and a half in like 8 minutes. Yeah, and like my best was 8 minutes and 2 seconds. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. You never forget your number, dear. And
I can't remember that.
Can you? No, I still remember that. It's ingrained in me. That I'll never forget that. But and then you look at that, and then it's mad because I had that pole I did back to Johnstown. I was living in Germany, and all we were doing was getting drunk on the weekend again. And actually weren't doing much.
Yeah.
And then
did you enjoy basic training or not?
Loved basic training.
We were together for a little bit.
We were. You were a few weeks ahead of me, weren't you?
On the same camp and that, yeah.
Yeah, in Basinbon.
Curly.
Yeah. Well, I thought you were lazy.
Watching you marching around and that.
I thought you were lazy because I used to have my kit every night, and you used to hang yours up so you wouldn't have to iron it.
Train work smarter, not harder, mate.
But yeah, so it's quite funny actually.
So you left basic training, and that's the difference between me and you, I suppose. When you leave basic training, we go to phase 2 training. We were together there as well, weren't we?
For a bit we were, yeah. We're like doing the driving.
Yeah, I was learning to cook. I was a chef. You
the driving and
the catering and the driving. The only two that was together, isn't it? So we're back together. So we followed each other around all the time, isn't it?
We have virtually, yeah.
But then at the end of phase 2, you get to choose, or you get to give the options of where you want to go to. So me, I was like, I want to go near home. Right? So I go to Turnhill down the road. I biked it home from there one night, and I was a bit daft idea. I was on the boxing team by then. I trained 3 times that day. I thought my mate had a bike. I was like, I want to bike it home. Flat tyres and that, like 30 mile from Turnhill. Got home at like 9 o'clock at night, absolutely like dead. At 3 o'clock in the morning, let's get back on the bike to go back. Get to base, straight off my bike, straight onto a run with the boxing team. Bad idea, but yeah. So I went there, close to home. You chose to go to
Germany.
Why was that?
You basically told like the decent camps. Yeah. I was told wherever you go here, you'll get involved in a lot. Yeah. And you get a lot of offers, but it's like again, you're listening to somebody else. You're not doing what you actually wanted. It was rubbish, if I'm honest. It was a lot of.
I thought, why would you want to go?
It were literally.
Let's get back home and get paid.
So
I was driving. I was working. Once I passed the driving test, I was just driving back and 2 every day, like a normal job.
17, 18, couldn't speak the language. Germans wouldn't make an effort for you because the way that the army, the soldiers treated them on the weekend, or hostility and stuff. But you had some good times. But when I look back, I think I was far too young to join the army to go away. I think if
you don't think you're sounding like I'm sound, but you are 16, well, you're probably 17 by then.
And you're thinking you're missing out. And the turning point for me when I actually allowed to have enough of the army was I was on guard Christmas Day. Snowing, freezing in Germany. I got caught with my hands in my pockets. So I had to brasso up the guard room on Boxing Day. Yeah. And I just thought, and I was getting loads of messages because checking my Bebo at the time. Bebo, remember that? Yeah.
I never on Bebo.
But social media was just starting. Checking that you can see everybody's out for Christmas and having drinks, and you get the odd message. And I think it was Dav that messaged me saying, "Oh, we're going up to the so and so for a pint. Do you come?" I'm like, "Oh no, I'm still in Germany." You think you're missing out? Yeah. And then I said that could be So I ended up leaving Germany, coming out, didn't I? But Yeah, it was good. You learnt a lot. I learnt a lot of resilience and stuff like that from the army.
I love basic training. I did, and then I went. Basic training was good. It was fun. Wasn't it? It was like playing army. You know, like as your kids. But it's hard.
You kept busy. You don't think. You haven't got time to think of it. No. That's what I loved about that. It was just boom on the go. Yeah. You know, it was the right crack, wasn't it? Some of the stuff.
How did you find? I remember. I'll be honest. I was the first couple of nights. I was crying in my bed.
I'm a bit tougher than you, Dan. So
I was crying in my bed, mate. My mum and that dropped me off in the day, and you're there and your shirt and tie, you know. Yeah. Got the ironing board. You turn up with an ironing board, like what's that all about? He's walking in with an ironing board, and then they go, and then they come and blah blah blah, and you're meeting all the other lads. And I've never been one to like fuss with other people. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, just leave me alone a bit. But sharing rooms with people, and then at night I remember being in my bed and just like, where are you? You're like in a prison, aren't you? Because everywhere's fenced around you. You're like I was down in near Cambridge.
Yeah.
Like, I remember like crying in my bed at night.
Well, I think one of the
first couple of nights, and I was at that point. I was just thinking, how long is it until I can go home with like a bit of respect for quitting? Gareth Reeves, right? He always said to me, because he was in the army, and he said as he was taking me down, I think he said. On my leaving party or whatever, he said, don't be too proud, just stay in. If you don't like it, come out, you know. And it was round and round in my head. But I knew loads of people from Johnstown had been in the army and failed basically. Basic training and out, or they messed up, or
I think the biggest lesson for me.
Next thing you know, I was thinking like 2 weeks. I'll do 2 weeks and then I'll quit. And then 2 weeks would come and next thing you know, I didn't want to quit anymore. And next thing it was like 4 years. But
the biggest lesson for me in basic training, because you'd come straight from school when I used to think everything was funny, you know, and we used to mess about in school, didn't we? And I'd always been doing something daft or playing the clown. And then I remember in the first week, something happening and me laughing, and then him singling me out and making everybody else get changed into all their kit, so they used it all up and he was crushed it. And I had to stand there and watch. And nobody spoke to me for about 3 hours, and I was thinking, actually, I can't be a clown here.
I took Tessa's football team to that fitness session this morning, and I told them I was to run behind us, and someone trying to come in. I said, if anyone comes past, I said, it's 10 press-ups, and then I said, well, actually, it's not 10 press-ups for you, it'll be 10 press-ups for everyone else, and you'll have to stand and watch them do it. I don't know where it come from.
That's what that is.
And I said to Matt, the coach, I said, God, I used to do that now. That was 20 years ago, and I'm like, as I said, I was like, where the hell? And then you just said the same thing.
But that's what happened. I used to stand and watch, and like obviously, you know, they were all fuming with me because it's like creates more loads of ironing and admin, doesn't it? So I remember I was thinking, oh my god,
it's got growth.
Dude, but again, I used to, once you settle in, you enjoy it and you enjoy the process. And I think the problem in the army for me was as soon as we stopped that, as soon as it was more like come please yourselves. You've got some stats was a problem. It wasn't what I wanted from it.
No, I liked playing army, and I shouldn't have gone in as a chef, but I don't even know why I did. But it's just I can't even smell. You know what I mean? It's like can't taste, can't smell, can't cook. Don't even want to cook. I just thought, just get a trade, that'll do, and I can come out. But then I was just on the boxing team anyway. But then I was 17, and I was with PWR in Market Drayton, and they were getting sent to Iraq, so the boxing team was knocked on the head. But I wanted to go to Iraq. I was like keen at that point. I wanted to do like commando, SAS. I was like proper keen. About 17, and I wasn't allowed to go to Iraq with them, so I got sent to Nuneaton for 6 months whilst they were in Iraq. And then in there, it was just I had a mint room to myself, but it was literally like go work, cook, come home. I didn't like the lads in the army. They were a bunch of gimps, if you ask me. They just wanted I booked a gym on site, but I used to pay like £50 a month to go to this gym outside. I used to go there every night to train, come home, up in the morning, boom, boom, boom. And then I got that illness, and it kind of went downhill from there. But So yeah, so how did you get out then?
It was to do with the age, how long you've been there and stuff. I still had an option of coming away.
Oh yeah.
But it was to me, at the time it was a sort of like I got out, and I think fair play to the ones that stayed and did what they wanted. You think, and actually sometimes
I wonder where they are.
Sometimes you think to yourself, I didn't really do much in the army. I got drunk in Germany and I did all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But then you look at the problems that they've got and stuff like that. From what I'm glad I didn't do anything. And it sounds mad to say it, but
let's say if I was a few months older and I went to Iraq with them, it's dangerous time at that. It was like 2005.
2004, 2005.
We joined 2003. So yeah, I could have been me who stepped on something, or that might not have happened, but I might have witnessed something else. Oh, all right, nothing happens. I go over there and I have this really good experience that you can tell. But I wouldn't want to, now that you've got the kids and that, your life might not just be the same as it. If I was a few months older and I'd gone there, but you just don't know, do you? But
the one thing it did do for me, well, I wouldn't. It's difficult to say. It gives you more confidence in some ways, but it also masks a lot of your emotions and your anxieties and others because they teach you how to hide that. There's no weakness. So I suppose it's pros and cons. The army, and then when I come out, it was like you fall straight back into that pattern then. But you were 12 months behind everybody else. Well, a couple of years behind everybody else because they'd been out drinking. And you hadn't, and then you think you've got to catch up.
Yeah. You did catch up as well, didn't you?
Probably overtook a few. No.
You're lapping a few laps.
I know, yeah. But then, and that was it. So you think super fit. Super fit. When I joined the army, I was 8.5 stone.
Yeah. That's this is what's funny. I remember this the other day. Remember me and you, right? We were dead competitive about gaining weight.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. We used to be in boxing. We go boxing every night, and we'd be getting on scales every night there in your little pants. And we'd be checking each other's weight, and we always wanted because we wanted to grow, right? And remember, your dad telling us, she tell us about when you're burping, you're growing.
Oh yeah.
Hiccup. When you hiccup, it means you're growing. And I remember we'd be walking around, and when we got hiccups, and I was like, I'm growing, and you were like, huh? I remember we used to go to Quickies, and get a Sara Lee double chocolate cake. Yeah. And we take it home and we just try and eat this cake, trying to gain weight.
Tubs of ice cream.
Bush didn't know, but we wanted to grow. It's like a competition to get bigger and stronger, wasn't it? Go get egg fried rice from the Chinese. Just eat it when you're hungry. £1.20.
Jesus.
But then, so it's funny that, isn't it?
Well, yeah, 8.5 stone I was. So,
yeah.
And then leaving.
That would have been the same, yeah.
I think leaving the army, I would have been about 10.5, 11 stone.
Just from growing as well.
Growing, bulking up, and and then just drinking. Obviously, you drink a lot more, and then that
starts to get a bit of you lose your habits in that. Then
everything. As soon as I come out the army, I don't think I've done sports until I restarted. So it was literally come out and then just dropped off. It was just like it was more than weekend drinking.
That's when I wasn't seeing you much, see, because you weren't doing any sport.
Yeah,
you're probably right, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how old are you there? 18?
No, 19, 20, something like that.
You're in the army a few years.
Yeah.
So, between then and when you sent me that message, sort of 18 months ago, 2 years in November.
Yeah. So
about a year and a half ago.
12, 13 years. Is it 12, 13 years, something like that?
No, you're 36 now.
A
year and a half ago, so you're 34. So you're 20, 14,
15 years, something like that. So, yeah.
Do nothing?
Not really. We used to have the odd game of five-a-side.
Yeah.
And then I'd go through periods where I'd go to the gym for the sake of the gym.
Yeah.
Not really. Nothing consistent.
10 minutes treadmill, 10 minutes stepper, 10 minutes.
Just to make yourself feel better, but going out on the weekend and drinking, depending who you're drinking with. If you're drinking with Cyril, he'd have 20 pints, you'd have 10, but you would, and you'd just drink all weekend. So, but you'd go to the gym to make yourself feel better.
Listen to it. I remember, going to the Legion, right? One afternoon or something, and you know, all the old geezers are there, and it closes for an hour or so, doesn't it? So they're there, sat in the seats, aren't they, all around. That must have been about 15 years ago. I remember you saying, I can't wait till I retire. So I can come here every day and play snooker. And I was like, what? I remember like arguing with you. I'm like, what, you want to just retire and come here? And you were like, what, yeah. They were talking about what they had for dinner. They've had a lamb joint off some sort, and they're going to come home and come back later and we're going to watch something. I was like, wow, it's incredible. This is. And you were like, oh, this is exactly what I want to do.
But the thing is, though, at the time, you know, at the time, you look back, you know, did I enjoy my 20s? In my head, I really enjoyed my 20s.
Yeah.
You know, and you think to yourself, yeah, you know, used to go and get hammered in some of the states I've been in, and you know, and some, you know, it's something else we do.
I'm not saying that I've been doing fitness all this time.
Yeah.
I've in my 20s, I've been in worse states and stuff like that. I was always in and out of fitness, but yeah.
Yeah, so you look at it, you know, nothing mattered. Doesn't matter how much money you spent. Doesn't matter what you did. You worked Monday to Friday, you know. And I've always worked hard. I've always had a job. I always worked hard. But I would just, you know, never cared what I spent. Never kept track of any finances, anything like that. It's all about getting drunk and, you know, and everything else that comes along with that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you do. But it's celebrated. It's all over social media. If you look at my Facebook and stuff and go back years on my thing, there's like pictures of my sister taking pictures of me like falling asleep in the kitchen because I've been coming drunk, and they woke up the family and sleeping on the kitchen floor, and it's a big laugh and joke. But actually,
it sounds like Jack now.
It's very, very much like Jack. You know, and I've done that all through my 20s, and I think
in Ryan's kitchen the other day.
Yeah, was he?
Someone said today, yeah.
So yeah, but the thing is, and that's funny. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it is like, but actually, all you did, and then think some. Would you change it? Do you wish like this life that you live in now? Do you wish that you'd got onto that earlier and you'd be like you might have? Yeah. Or are you just ready for it now? I think there's bits of both. I think, you know, in terms of I wish, you know, because I was having a chat with somebody about, and they were saying, "Oh, you travelled much?" And I was listing these countries that I've been to, and I've been to loads of countries, but I've seen nothing. Yeah. So what do you mean? Well, we've been there, but I was drinking by the pool for 2 weeks. Yeah. You know, we've been there. Oh yeah, I know. I can tell you there's a good pub there. Yeah. Or I can tell you, you know, but actually you've seen nowhere.
There's good breakfast here.
Do you know what I mean? So I think to myself that I've enjoyed my 20s. I wish that I did stuff more in moderation. So I wish I had a balance. And
you know, you've recovered probably brilliantly now.
Oh, 100%.
But a lot of people don't.
No.
A lot of people.
You know, and
that's what's credit to you, because you, like I say, when you text me asking, you know, I've always been doing bits, haven't I? And you just text me like, can you remember the message? It was literally something like, "Mate, I need your help." Something dead straight like that.
Well, I think if I remember rightly, it's like it's getting, you know, you don't. I was getting no enjoyment from life. People literally, you know, don't get me wrong. I was happy with Tash and everything else, but anything sort of spare time, she'd go away to me, "Mate, I'd want to go and get drunk, and I want to do this," and you know, and the only thing that give me any sort of, you know, your perceived enjoyment, because after you've had a night out, whatever, you don't feel great about yourself the next day because you're dying. So I think it was a case of I got up to not far off 18 stone. So I was looking back on an app because I always thought it was 17, but actually I'd logged it somewhere. So I was near 18 stone. I was always in agony with my back. Yeah, you know, I used to snore like a trooper so much that, you know, we were considering sleeping in separate rooms and stuff like that. You know, never got going to achieve the things that I want because I was spending all my money, you know, and stuff like that. And actually, but you've only got mates who do that.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're stuck in that cycle, and
yeah.
You know,
nobody was doing it. There was nobody to. I've been in and out of it, haven't I? But I've never been on Facebook, and over the years, in and out of other stuff but I've done a hell of a lot of stuff that nobody even knows about. But I realised at some point, like, shit, there's a lot of people here like struggling. Maybe me posting them, but might plant a seed with some people, and that's what we're trying to do now, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Literally, as a team, like, I think we've been we're doing something. I personally, it might sound bold, but I think we're doing something special. Like
you can see people wanting to change their lives, and because what I've been telling people is that actually I still like a drink. Last year I went out. Considering I used to go out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I drank. Last year I went out 4 times, and I probably enjoyed those 4 times 10 times more than I'd done the previous years drinking every weekend. Because it's in moderation. I'm gonna have a hangover that day. It's not the end of the world. You don't beat yourself up for the money you're spending. It's all in moderation. It's been grand, and I think that's what I'm starting telling people. Just slow down. Don't it doesn't have to be.
I was going to say, when you first sent that text, and I remember saying to you, mate, just come down here tomorrow or so. We've done that a few times before, but you've not bottled it, but you just
gone out.
You just weren't ready. You came down and we had a chat just like this. Literally just sat here on 2 things in this gym, didn't we? I remember saying to you, and I say it a lot now, I say, just be, like your identity. I remember me saying it. You've done 15 years, you've done nothing. I remember saying to you, the 15 years before that, we were out grafting together, training, boxing every night, going out for runs, both went in the army, grafting. So that is you. And the next 15 years, you've just chosen to do nothing. Not chosen, but you've chosen that. So I remember saying to you, the next 15 years, we can just make that look like that first 15 years. And it's about, what I say about you are what you repeatedly do. And within no time, we got you going. And within about 4 weeks, 5, 6 weeks of you training, now you are somebody who trains. And you've just taken that on. But it was hard work to start with. What did you do?
Well, when I started
in the gym, that's it. And I said to you, you were worried about going to the gym and the weights. And I remember saying, mate, walk in that gym. I said, pick up them weights, do whatever you want. I said, there's a coach, there's a PT there. It's his job. Has going now. I said, it's his job. Mind for him. Ask him, mate, am I doing this right? Don't care about what anybody else thinks. I remember you coming home that night texting me. I've done that. I spoke to the PT and I'm having a PT with him tomorrow.
Session,
I wasn't doing this at the time. It was just, and then literally from there on in, I wouldn't say I've coached we just give you that thing, and then we've just
on the check-ins,
just been guiding along the way.
For me, and if I've been quiet, you've said, "Come on, what you done this week?" Or a little bit. And I think it's what I've learned is when I started, I
pushed you as well.
Oh yeah,
well, out of your comfort zone.
Oh, good Christ! It's like when we first started. I think the goal was a park run, wasn't it? And when I went on my first run, and I think I couldn't run a mile. I think I managed to do my first mile in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And you think I used to do a mile and a half in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So you used to think, shit.
Every step was hard work.
100%. And I remember being nervous going to do the first park run. I'm thinking, but I've done it. And then you kept going and, did the 10K, Manchester. Buzz in with that. And you quickly realise.
That was good, that night. It was good. It was cool, wasn't it? It was like dark.
Yeah.
Over the it's just a mint venue and that.
And then doing the half marathon.
Yeah.
And then starting the triathlons, and you look at things, you think, oh, I can never do a triathlon. That's for other people. Other people do triathlons. And then you look and you think, actually, there's loads around in our area, just never looked.
Yeah.
We went to train them in Alderford and, buzz in with that, and people coming around and people showing a genuine interest in what you're doing. And actually,
nice people, mate. They're like, people who walk up a mountain. If there's someone walking down that mountain, they're going to say hi to you. You all right, mate? Right? If you walk down through Wrexham Town Centre, you're not. So when if you're out running, you see another runner, and you give each other that nod. It's like it's just respectful. He's doing something for himself there, and it's like anyone will help you. Do you know what I mean? If you go in a gym, that's what I was saying. If you go into a gym, everyone in there should be in there to better themselves.
Yeah.
And they should be keen on helping other people out. And if they're not, then their opinion doesn't matter, does it?
But that's
they're an idiot. So
generally what you find, though. I went to the gym. People that speak to me in the gym. It wasn't too long ago that a fella said to me, he said, because I was in Everlast gym and I went to Total, and he said, I've seen you in here for the last 12 months. He said, Christ, the weight's dropped off you. Yeah. People notice, and that makes you feel good about yourself. Yeah. Then I went to the Wrexham Triathlon Club. Yeah. Nicest people you've ever met. And you've got
what you've done. Like you've shown balls all along. And I remember going to that first swimming lesson when I booked an Ironman. I couldn't swim, and I thought, shit, I need to swim. And I nearly turned around 3 times. I thought, well, I'm in my comfort zone here, out my depth. And I didn't turn around, and I went there. And budgie smuggles on. I had to go in the lane with the older people. I come from there, I was like, they all helped me. I thought, your picture, you getting in that pool, and they all turning, pointing, laughing at you. Like I couldn't swim a length. Yeah. And then you have to really drop. You have to leave my ego on the
straight back
on the bypass, and mate, I don't know how to swim. Can you breaking it all down? But the fact that you've just gone off to these things as well. Like I keep saying to people think I've always done this stuff, right? Which I actually haven't. But I've been in and out of it. Do you know what I mean? And they think that's all right for you. You doing this, you've already done it. But you doing them is far more impressive than me. Because it might sound like I'm slagging you off here, but I think from knowing you training in boxing, right, I think you got naturally lazy bones.
Yeah,
right?
You're probably right.
When we're training in boxing,
if I could get away with something, I'd get away with it.
If Bush wasn't looking, you're stopping and you're waiting to watch until he looks, right? And when he starts looking, you'll start on.
Yeah.
But I'm right though, aren't I? So the fact you would rather not be doing that, but I love it. I can't wait until my next event, and you know what I mean. Whereas you are like, I've signed up to this. You're going to worry yourself to death.
Oh yeah.
Right? You'd rather not be doing it.
I don't tell people. I don't tell people.
You don't tell people. I just tell everyone. I'm hire coaches to come and watch it. But I know that you can do them, and afterwards you're always buzzing with the pictures that we take, buzzing with all the comments that you get on the thing, because I know how much it means to you. But so I wanted to ask you at the very beginning, right? But Curly, are you still happy being called Curly? Do you think about it? I know you're joking. You call yourself Curly and all that.
Yeah, probably.
But it's not. There's loads of people with nicknames, and you call them when you're a kid. But there's other people like Sleeves. I call her Sleeves. She says Laura. I said, yeah, sorry, Sleeves. Right?
Yeah,
it's like that. But
if I meet new people, I don't say I'm Curly.
Are you sure? I bet you do when you go to Leicester and all that.
No,
Curly man.
It's Craig. Do you know what I mean? So I suppose actions will tell you that.
You can't change. Not. Even if you weren't unhappy about it, you're not going to change.
No, it's and I can't change the picture. So when you look at my hair when I was a kid, it's like now I'm nearly losing my hair. Yeah. You think to yourself, you're fucking daft now. Nickname with Curly, you've got no fucking hair.
I know. How many times have you said when I was younger?
Yeah, but so you probably not.
If you feel strong enough as a man now, an adult, to be saying people with me, stop calling me Curly now.
Still part of
Craig, but you're still it's part of you, and you're still happy with it.
Yeah, it's part of me. I suppose I'm old people. I'm happy to call me Curly.
Yeah,
you are.
My nana called you. Have you seen Curly?
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that. Have you seen Curly on the phone? She asked me that before she asked if I'm okay, and I'm like, yeah, is he all right? Yeah, he's all right. How are you anyway?
She asked me, have you seen Daniel? Yeah, I saw him a couple of weeks ago.
Right, because they know these older people, what it's like that. Going deep now, but they know what they've seen us growing up. They know how important it is to have proper mates. Do you know what I mean? Because those older people they've seen them all come and go and die, basically. It's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
My nan was 80 odd. Most of her friends from when she was young probably dead. That's how it worked. But she probably wishes she spent more time with a lot of them. So she's always asking, have you seen Craig? These people are older, wiser. You've got to listen to them, but she hasn't got the vocabulary to sit you down and say, listen, you need to make sure you're doing like spending time with your friends and nothing like that. Have you seen Craig? Yeah, okay, Lindsay, all right, yeah.
Well, times have changed, and people don't talk like that. Didn't talk like that, did they?
No.
You know.
I want to talk about you getting with Tash, right? Because I remember for years you would say, right, I'm never going to have a girlfriend. You'd say, I don't ever want a girlfriend.
I'm happy as I am.
I'm happy as I am, right? But was that? Did you always want that? But you were like sort of a defense mechanism, confidence-wise. Were you thinking, if I say that, no one's in. I'm not. I can't. Not sounds like I can't get one. I don't want one.
Yeah, I think to be fair,
because it's mint now. What you've got with Tash, it's your biggest achievement.
I think sometimes you don't. But I want to go drinking. A lot of the time, and I think you see you lot, and you'd be going off when I can't. She's Sarah's, and a lot of the time I prefer to go drinking.
Yeah.
And I think when I met Tash, she knows this and she laughs about it, but I just thought, it's a bit of fun, and then crack on, and then it happens, doesn't it? And you think, oh shit.
And now you're engaged. How long have you been with her? Tash?
About 5.5 years.
Yeah.
5.5 years, and she probably is.
Better be right, so you're in trouble.
Well,
it better be right.
It's 5.5 years, and she probably is the best thing that's ever happened to me in terms of. I probably helped her with a big change. I remember, some of the difficult conversations you have when you meet somebody that's coming in as an outsider.
Yeah.
And she'd see how we behave on a weekend and stuff like that. And she'd say, "That ain't right."
Well, she's from like Melton.
Yeah, fuck off, you're Leicester. But she'd be like, and then you sit and you think, and she'd pull it apart, and you're like, she's probably right here. And that's when somebody else shines a spotlight on your life. You realise actually you've got to break this cycle.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so I think, so it's a big thing, mate, and it's probably cheaping us.
The thing that don't want to like patronise you or anything like that now, but the thing that literally warms my heart when I'm with you and she phones you, and the way you speak to her, like I'm literally sitting there like proud, like oh, bloody hell. The way you speak to her, like proper. How I'd want somebody to speak to Tess down the line. Do you know what I mean? And the way that you do treat her, like. And for somebody who's never wanted a girlfriend, it's mad. It's mad to see. But do you think, like, your dad's a bit like that with your mum, or did you not see any of it?
My dad. Yes. My mum's old fashioned. She looks after my dad.
Yeah.
But my mum's the boss.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I had a really good upbringing with them.
My boss. She's the boss.
So she is.
You do.
No, and it's and I think they've always got on really well.
Yeah.
And I think you can see that. I suppose.
That's what I want myself. Like I want the kids to grow up and they just used to being with someone where you like having a laugh with, and you do things together, and
just don't want drama. You see people play out their lives on social media.
Argue, instead of argue, they argue, but it's about like the dishwasher or something.
Oh, bicker like hell, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Kind of
bicker. But so it's interesting.
So you engaged now with Tash, right? Remember when you got engaged, right? What did I say to Tash?
I'm sure we were coming here to talk about sport and fitness, didn't we?
I'm coming to get out. Yeah. I texted Tash back. I said, don't let him do his thing. That he'll play it safe and he'll go. Yeah, we'll have a few years of just thinking about it. Right? I said, get him getting that planned. I know you're like everything's like with your fitness. I do a 5K, I do a 10K. Everything's like. Let's not take mad things, right? And I'm like, just book a marathon, go for it. You can do it. I'll do a 6K. I'll do a 7K. I'm like, come on. You do a triathlon. You start at the lowest one. You build up. Now you got a half split over 3 days. Now you want to combine them. But that is that just a confidence thing.
Confidence in everything. I think I present.
What did I say to you after that last one? Are you going to stop doubting yourself?
Yeah, I know.
Because when he books something, tell the camera now. When he books something, he looks at the cut-off times first. The cut-off times on it. I'm saying, don't worry about the cut-off times. You smash the cut-off times every time.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, I'm wanting to do it in this time. And I'm like, you're not going to do it in that time. You're going to do it in this time. Yeah. And it's always closer to what I say rather than what you think. But you're so scared of failing.
Yeah, I suppose it does come to confidence. And, even though I'm confident in areas, but actually putting myself out there, in terms of things I'm not, this makes me really, really uneasy.
You turned up to do a podcast, and he thought he didn't know that we were filming it. He's like, "What do you mean? What do you mean, camera?" I'm like, "I'm filming it." And he's like, "What? You didn't tell me that?" And I was like, "Well, I got you now." And that's the story I've always been pushing you out of your comfort zone a little bit, but you're here now in the sound.
But yeah, so I suppose I suppose as you get older, you become more confident in what you're doing in all areas, I would say. So I think I still struggle, but I'm looking at the next event now because I've just done the triathlon, and I'll have to get over that hurdle again, the confidence, the bucket. I get that feeling at the start of every event, the nerves. You laughing at me on the bike, weren't you? Because you could see.
That's when I was talking earlier on about him not wanting to be at that start line, right? And I'm on that start line. I want that gun to go. I want to go. When you're on that start line, you're on your bike, helmet on, like that, and and you turn to me like that. You turn to me.
What the fuck am I doing?
You look at me like that, and I'm just laughing my head off because you're looking at me going, "What have you got me into now, right? You booked it, nothing to do with me."
I know.
You're looking at me as if it's my fault.
Right? The swim, I look at the swimming at 1.2 mile. That's a long way, that. And you look at it, and then you see these racing snakes come past you, and you're thinking, I'm still only just fitting in my wetsuit, and you're like, and you have that moment of confidence all the time. But I think the plus about that is that I think I'm relieved as well as chuffed with myself at the end, because I'm starting from a lower place in confidence. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And again, it goes back to me saying you doing these things is more impressive than me. Like the fact that you turn up at that swim, right? You know that you still your next thing is you want to lose. You've got a few more stones to lose. You're happy with that, so you turn up there, right, with your thing on and with your wetsuit on and stuff like that. If we're honest, we're not looking like an athlete. Not that
not what your normal perception.
No, but you get on and you're on that bike, looking around like it takes balls to stand up there and like what you know what I mean. So more people talk to me about stuff. They're like, "Oh yeah, you do that." More people who say to me, "No, see what Curly's doing." It's more impressive than what I'm doing, and it's more. I suppose what you've done is what is helping get other people do stuff more than me, because they look at it and go, it's almost like sounding like a dick here, but the things I've done, and then they've seen where you were like 2 years ago, and that's probably where they are now, and they can see like, yeah, I can do that. Where they think, don't want to go too deep into shit that I've been through, but they think, because I only post the good shit on social media, they're like everyone else, but they think that I've always been flying and at it, and I can just wake up one morning and run this marathon in a certain time. That's not the way. But for you, they can see like I can get from there to there with hard work, but you don't post any of your hard work either, right? No. You don't post anything, do you? No. I'm trying to get you to sort of inspire other people, but it's what works for you. But you might find that accountability of that. You will get mithered. Like the more you post, the more. It's good mithered. Do you know what I mean?
I'm more than happy for people to get involved, and and I quite like it when people come to do some stuff with me. But I don't know. I suppose it comes with that putting yourself out there. It made me laugh the other morning. Doing hill sprints and walking the dogs. And I see you and I think, oh fuck it.
Well, there's the chances of that. It's like 6:30 in the morning. Yeah. I'm just walking. I've never seen anyone doing hill sprints on the road other than me. And I'm walking, and you see this high-vis pink top running up and down the hill, and it was you. Like I was like, that's like a powerful moment for me. I'm like, shit, I've created this monster here. Like, what's he doing that? And it's because Every time I see you do something, I go back to that text. Like,
but then it's like
you think, where would you be now if you didn't do that? It's like, not send that text to me, but if you didn't make that change to, I've got to sort this shit out.
I wouldn't be doing as well as I am in work. I wouldn't be doing as well as I am with Tash, you know.
And we should touch on that. Like, we say about people not making it from Johnstown, but like, you're a manager of a care home. Like, that's, like, in some people's eyes, that is like making it. That's the dream. Making it doesn't have to be like a sporting a thing or anything like that. That's a real success story from being a rapscallion. Is that the word? Rapscallion. Being a little shit on the estate, to being a manager of a care home in charge of, you know, the Care Council of Wales. You're dealing with meetings with these people and you're holding your own. And I used to work there with you as well. We've been everywhere together.
We have, haven't we?
But yeah, you got to give yourself massive credit.
Yeah, just qualified as a teacher as well and stuff like that. So, you know, it's I think, you know, when you look back, you know, it's like you look at the drinking and whatever comes with the drinking and everything else. It holds you back in so many ways, and you know, it kills your ambition, if I'm honest. And, and I think now with the consistency, and the reason you told me doing the hill sprints is because the Free Peak Challenge coming up, and I know if I don't train, because I'm still carrying a bit of weight and everything else, I'm going to find it really hard, and that's what I've been doing.
And it's that bit of fear that you're going to be the one that looks like a dick.
Yeah.
So that bit of fear, you use
drives you.
Yeah. So it's not bad. I do that. I put mad pressure on myself.
So I think, you know, actually I'm happier in life. Is the one thing I would say is with this, I feel better about myself.
Yeah.
I feel I've got more energy. I've got, you know, literally days would pass you by. You know, you're off for 5 days. You get drunk the first 2 days, and then you're too tired or hungover to do anything for the rest of the time. I feel like I do so much more of my life now. Like, I look forward to exercise is my de-stress as well now. Yeah. So if you've had a shit week in work or whatever, go to the gym. She'll actually say to me, "I wish you'd go to the bloody gym if I'm doing a Reading." You know, if you go to the show, it's
mad because that wasn't in like your vocabulary before.
No.
You know, it wasn't an option for you. It just wasn't. And you can quite quickly get used to like, this is what I do. I go to the gym now. I do go in. I do upper body strength. I do some intervals. Right, and you say these words that just weren't there before. You know.
Well, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to go drinking but it's planned. It's more. I'm going to watch the Blossoms in a couple of weeks.
You're better than me for that. I always say to you, like, I wish I could do what you do, which is have a drink every now and then and just crack on. I've tried doing that a couple of times. It doesn't work well for me. It doesn't work well for me. You know that more than anyone. Like, but what works for one doesn't work for other, and it's like I don't need to. Or nobody needs to follow what anyone else is doing to find out what works for you. But the way that you can just have a few drinks, well, you can go mad as well. But you get back, and I'll be on to you after, won't I? You know, back in the gym, get the plan.
First 2 days, The last night out, I was in the pool at 8 o'clock the next morning because I had a drink and I told myself get there the next day. Yeah. Back into it straight in next second fourth.
Yeah. It's gone then, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I need to do more of that. I need to have more. I need to have more fun. Like, I'm too serious, too focused, too like spinning a million plates all the time, too like. So I forget to. After Idos World Championships, I had a few beers, but like, you know, after Everest challenge I didn't have a drink whatsoever for a few months after. I should be celebrating these things more. Do you know what I mean? What's the point of it? I know, like, showing the kids and stuff like that, or other people, but yeah, I think I need to do more of that. And you're an example. I keep saying you're the example of like, yeah, you can. So it's like you're teaching me at the same time. And that's how it's been really for a couple of years. But so we've been going for about an hour now, mate. I'm quick.
We can talk some shit.
So I wrote a couple of things down just so we can actually get something in. But so we'll finish with these, mate. We covered everything, haven't we? I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on and on forever, like, but we'd just be talking about stories. We should do another one. We should think of some stories.
I'm going to have to vet you first, though.
No, just some stories from things that happened, like, you know, the things in the mopeds and that when we were younger. Like, some funny some funny shit has happened, like, but we don't need to. This one's a bit more about like serious, I suppose, mate. But anyway, what's your biggest goal? And here he goes now, watching him playing it safe. I suppose I'll do it. I'm on 70.3 with an extra mile on the end. Progression. I've
just done the 70.3 over the weekend, so the next immediate one is the 70.3 in a day.
That's not like your biggest goal.
No, the biggest.
That's not like at the end of your life when you look back and you can say, "I did this," your grandkids or whatever. What
I'm going to do a full Ironman.
What would you like that to be?
That's the full Ironman. So it's the.
Yeah, I want to do that.
It's 140 mile. Yeah. That's going to be
2.2 miles swim, 112 bike, and a marathon.
Yeah. So that's
so you will build up next because you will do that. You want to do a marathon. You want to do the 10.3 in a day.
Put in for the London Marathon. If I get it, I'll be devastated. I'm waiting for the ballot results to come out.
Yeah, I've started a petition to get you in there. Like. But okay, so your Ironman sounds, and that full Ironman. That's the cap of your goals. Dig deep, brother. No, I want to go. I want to do. What about doing things? I want to do Kilimanjaro, Machu Picchu. I want to I want to run across countries. When I'm retired, I'm training now for my retirement. I want to be fit when I retire, so I can do loads.
I want to enjoy more life. It's one of my biggest goals to get the work balance life right.
Got my toes on.
We've been talking about buying a camper van for 2 years. Yeah. So we are going to buy one, and I suppose it's the biggest goal in that is to get the balance right. Spend more time with family is probably one of the biggest ones, and family and friends. Do you know what I mean? Because you're so busy, you forget all that.
Yeah.
It's just some of the lads that I haven't seen for ages and ages because I don't drink. So I suppose I don't drink as much.
We're dragging them all down here now.
I know, yeah. It's more.
We're dragging them to us, and they're coming training with us. And my social life hasn't been as good since I was a kid. I see everyone from all the lads coming. You got people like Robbie Earl coming. Obviously, like some Macker and all that lot, like the group that come. But so I'm just having I'm living the dream really. I've done like a life hack where
you've got them into your.
I've got them. Yeah, I've got them. We've done it. We've got people messaging you. Can I come for a run with you, a bike with you, a cold water dip with you? Whereas before it's just been me and you.
Yeah. And then it would be you and me struggling to keep up. So it's nice to have somebody behind you a little bit. Yeah. It's because it's nice to see the full spectrum.
Yeah. So your proudest moment?
I'd probably say passing out the army was quite a proud moment.
Was it really? Yeah. Were you dead proud?
I think I got caught up with the band, but do you know what I mean? But you hear the music, and you think you're going to be the next war hero, don't you? But
you were dead proud passing out.
Yeah, I think you would.
More than when you got the manager's job at the care home.
Yeah, it probably was.
More than when Tash said, "Yeah,
I'm a catch," so I knew that was in the bag.
Guaranteed.
But
okay. No, I'm going passing out the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, mate. What lessons have you learned from your mum and dad? If you can take anything off your mum or anything off your dad that you think, probably what's made you, because you are successful. You are successful.
Callum Bick's resilient. I think that's the one thing from her. She's a strong woman, and she looks after people. It's probably her best quality.
From your lips going there. I got choked a bit then. And then
my dad's he's laid back. He's approachable, sensible. And I don't know what happened with Sarah, but even Jack, even though Jack's young, he's got a good work ethic, stuff like that. So I would probably see that from my dad.
Yeah, good stuff.
He's laughing at me.
Just take Sarah right out, damn it. We're speaking to YouTube. Get it off. What does it mean to you to be a man?
Oh, difficult with that. I think it's changed.
Pretending now, I didn't give you this question.
Really put me on the spot.
I put you on the spot.
I
give you a heads up with that one.
No, I think it changes. I think when you're in 20s, you just, you don't really think about what sort of man you are. You just want to be a lad. You want to be in the crowd. You want to impress. You want to. I think as I'm getting into my 30s now, it's changed, and the main thing be about as a person. I want to leave the world in a better place, really, and whatever that may be, making people feel better about themselves, being kind where you can, helping others, learning from your mistakes, because I will make many more mistakes, and stuff like that. And I'll, even when I'm drunk, I may make more mistakes and stuff like that. It's just learning from everyone and just generally being a better person, I would say, is what I seem to be as a man, giving out, acting with integrity, I would say.
Been asked this question before, but no, you're dead right, mate. And I think you are. I say a lot lately about people. You're like, that's a good man, right? And I think being told, it's calling somebody like a good man. It's not like, oh, he's a good lad. It's like you're good. When you say it different, like you're a good man. It's like that's powerful shit. Like I think, and I think you are a good man. You got good bones. Like I say with Tash, you're well on board with everything that we're doing.
Making big changes. This group, just the language hearing from some of the other lads is amazing. They're supporting each other. I think it's fantastic, and you're a massive part of that. So thank you very much for all your support. I appreciate you.
Don't.
Right, so we'll cry after.
Yeah, but I'm not good at that shit. Let's move on from that. But happy, mate. I think hopefully when we watch it back, we'll have a good look at it and get it out, and hopefully people enjoy it. I always say podcasts changed my life. I'm dead sure of that. Like I go back 2.5, 3 years ago maybe, when I first started with podcasts, from where I was then to now. Listen to other people's stories. Just made it like a reality of what, I was in bad places and stuff. I have been over spells. Listen to other people going through it, because nobody around here talks to each other. You don't know that everyone else is just as posse as you and just as. But listening to podcasts about whatever now, I'm just obsessed with them. All day, every day, walk the dog, drive to work, podcasts about this, about that. And I've almost completed them. I have to search for new things now. I have, mate, honestly. As soon as it comes out, boom. So, and I'm well aware that everyone's got a story to tell. Who's there? Sarah. Everyone's got a story to tell, and I think you can gain something from everybody's story. Do you know what I mean? So thank you, mate, for sharing yours. And we got a bit of my shit in there as well. But like I say, we get another one on down the line just for some funny shit. But well done and good shit, and keep it up, mate. Bosh.
Nice.
For now, I'm not going to edit it. I'm going to have to go and press that button. Bosh.